ไหนมีคำถามไหมเรื่องภาวนาจิตเดินภาวนาเป็นยังไงฮะใจมันสงบไหมไม่ได้รู้บางทีก็เดินจงกรมไหมเดินอยู่แล้วแล้วคนที่มาใหม่มาจากคอนเคนหรือโคราชกาฬสินธุ์เป็นลูกสาวเหรอไหนมีคำถามไหมเรื่องภาวนา ไม่มี So we are here to practice, yeah? Getting the mind calm, not all over the place. Staying from the morning we wake up, staying with the Buddha or staying with our breath until the evening that we go to sleep. That is the practice that we should do. We have there's only little time that we need to look after our body. In the morning, doing having our meal, yeah? In the afternoon, sweeping. Because there are so many people here and cleaning the monastery, takes hardly any time. So we have the most of the time we have there for our practice. And that means sitting in practice, sitting in Samadhi and walking Chongkrom. That is the practice of a practitioner, of a monk, and of a mechi. There's nothing else to do. So I want you to use the opportunity here in this monastery to make the utmost effort, put the utmost effort into your practice. Because when you go back home, you don't have the time. You don't have 20 hours a day, to practice. You might have 1 hour or 2 hours, but that's not enough to get the mind completely calm. And getting it completely calm gives us a sign and gives us the opportunity to feel happiness, or to feel peacefulness, or to experience stillness. That kind of stillness, most of the people are not able to do at home. They only can do it when they are on a retreat or when they are here in the monastery. And we need to have this experience of Samadhi. When the mind enters, into Samadhi, and there is no more thoughts, and there is no more memories popping up. So what is happening there? Just peacefulness, stillness, or happiness, whatever. That depends on the character of a person. And we see that there is no future and there is no past, because we don't think and we don't memorize. And if there is no memory and there is no thoughts, there is no future, there is no past, there is no worries about tomorrow, there is no worries about yesterday, and there is no fear. And all what it takes is to stay with our Buddha. That's all what it takes. To stay with the Buddha or stay with the breath. But we have to force it, And that's where all the difficulties arise. Oh, it is so boring. Oh, it's so boring. The breath is so boring. I don't want to stay with the breath anymore. Let me do something else. Or the Buddha is boring. Or then there comes restlessness. Or the kilesas trick us, and there comes pain. They trick us constantly. Oh, look at that. They bring up something, And then they ask us, what is this? What is this? Where is it coming from? Why does it appear now? We don't ask, and when we look at the nature where the clouds are coming from. We don't ask. Huh? They just appear and they disappear, just like our thoughts appear and disappear. And in the Samadhi we experience a holiday from ourself. Because when there is no more thoughts and when there is no more memories, there is no self. There's nobody who takes hold of the experience. There's just the pure experience in itself. And that is so peaceful and that is so still, that we feel happy. There's one time where we don't have to take charge of the things that we cannot take charge of. You understand that? There's one time where we can't take charge of the things that we actually cannot take charge of. Because the thoughts are coming. When we are out of Samadhi, the thoughts are coming. We are not in charge of the thoughts. We are not in charge of the memories most of the time. There's so seldomly we want to think about something, and so seldomly we want to memorize anything. That's where we can bring up the memories and the thought. But most of the time they just come by themselves. They are constantly disturbing us. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What was this memory? What did I do last year? What am I going to do in the future? These thoughts are constantly coming up. And it's the kilesas who bring them up. And when we rest in Samadhi, there is no one who takes control of the experience, and there's no one who judges this experience. There's no one who says, oh, this is good, or this is bad, or this should be like this, or this should be like that. No one. That's why we feel so happy. That's why we feel so satisfied. And there is no wish, there is no will to change anything. And that is the importance of Samadhi, to realize that there is a state of mind or there is a state of citta where we completely satisfied. We are without wish, we are without desire, and we are completely satisfied. And this is one thing that we have to experience to see that there is something that goes beyond this world that we normally live in. The world of our illusion, the world of our thoughts, the world of our imagination, and the world of our memories. That's where we normally live in. And when we go into Samadhi, we find a world that is completely different. Because it is the world of this very moment where nobody takes hold of. Where there is no more memories, where there is no illusion. And why? Why is it so difficult? All what we have to do, ask yourself, all what we have to do is to stay with the Buddha until the mind gets completely calm. Or stay with the breath. Or stay with the Buddha, with breathing in and or with breathing out. That's all what we need to do. So why are we giving in to these thoughts that constantly are coming up? Why? Are we so bored? Or do you think it is so important? Have you realized that you cannot change anything with your thoughts? You cannot change the past with your thoughts. You cannot change the future with your thoughts. You can imagine. You can live in imagination. You can stay on in this imagination, in this illusion that tomorrow will be better. We constantly like this. We constantly love to be, in this illusion, about this world, about our thoughts, about our dreams, about our views and opinions. That's where we normally live in. We don't live in reality, we live in an illusion. in an illusion that we make up because we don't like what we see in this present moment. And if we don't like what we see, we go off in our thoughts. We think about this, we think about where is this unpleasant feeling coming from? Why do I have this unpleasant feeling? Instead of looking, what is this unpleasant feeling? What is this unpleasant memory? Yeah? How does it feel like? Yeah? What came before this unpleasant memory? We don't want to know. We want to stay in our dreams. We don't want to know what is happening. We don't want to know, this present moment because it is unpleasant. Or we find it unpleasant, but actually when we stay in it and there is no more thoughts and memories about it, it is very pleasant. And being in a state where we don't have any desires anymore, how can that not be pleasant? Being in a state where we don't have any wishes, we don't want it otherwise. And when we come out, we want this, we want that, we don't like this, we don't like that. We are constantly bothered by these thoughts. So why don't we put some more effort in just sticking with this Buddha? All these thoughts, leave it, replace every thought that comes with the word Buddha or with the attention on the breath. Every thought, and there we have to be utmost patient. Because every thought that comes in, we replace with Buddha or with the attention on the breath until there no more thoughts are coming. The moment the kilesas see that we are not interested in whatever they bring up, because it's the kilesas, it's not us who bring it up. It is us, what you can call us, it is us who wants to start to meditate and wants to get actually calm. That's us. So we stay with the Buddha for 1 minute, and then the kilesas bring up and say, are you not interested in it? Yeah? Positive or negative? Yeah? And we say, yes, of course, I'm interested more in this than in my Buddha or in the breath. And that's how they lure us out of Samadhi. Instead of, really determine in the beginning of our practice, okay, just this 1 hour or 45 minutes or 2 hours, I want to stay with the Buddha. Whatever comes into the mind is brought up by the kilesas. And then we understand the enemy that we face all the time. It's the kilesas who bring up these thoughts, it's the kilesas who bring up these memories, and it's even the kilesas who bring up these different kinds of feelings. And especially pain. So the hindrances in our practice is boredom, is restlessness, is pain, and sometimes it is fear. And we have to overcome these. And it is tiredness. Oh, I'm so tired. The moment we think about something interesting, we are not tired anymore. How come? Oh, I'm so tired. Actually, this kind of tiredness is nothing else than not being interested in the Buddha anymore, not being interested in our practice anymore. We have to understand this. Yeah? We have to see our enemy very clear. It's not that we can defeat it instantly, but it's good to know your enemy. Yeah? And so remember this well. How do we know our enemy? We determine to sit down for 1 hour or 45 minutes and determine to stay with the Buddha or with the breath. And whatever else comes into the mind at that time or into the citta are coming through the kilesas, through our enemy. They bring up these thoughts, they bring up these memories, they bring up these questions, and so on. So we see it very clearly. We are not in charge. Somebody else is in charge. And over the time, our practice is to reduce the power of this usurper, of this tyrant, of this avijja, to undermine its power, so that We can decide what we want to do. We want to stay in the calm? Okay, let's stay in the calm. But as long as this avijja is so powerful that it constantly can disrupt our meditation and tells us, oh, this meditation doesn't, today it's not working, or this meditation is not bringing anything. Or sometimes for some people in the lay life or outside, they say meditation makes one crazy. Bringing up fear. It's utterly bullshit. Meditation doesn't make us crazy, it makes us actually quite healthy. If we stay with the Buddha, we can only get crazy if we don't stop thinking. We realize that? If somebody cannot stop its thinking, he snaps over and he gets crazy. And we just do exactly the opposite thing. We stop thinking. And the world can be so nice when we stop thinking. The world of experience. Every moment is fresh, every moment is new, every moment is different. That's why we can stay with it. Every Buddha is different, every breath is different. One breath is deep, one breath is shallow, one breath is long, one breath is short. Every time it changes. There's nothing that is constant. That is one of the characteristics of this universe. Anicca. Everything is constantly changing. Nothing is constant. The only thing that is constant doesn't belong to this universe. It is beyond this universe, and that is Nibbana. That is constant. And if we want to experience Nibbana, or at least get a preview of Nibbana, we not only go into Upachara Samadhi, we go into deep Samadhi. And deep Samadhi is when what? When the breath actually stops. Not when the breath disappears, when it stops. And we feel, we are going to die. And then we have to tell ourselves, whatever can die, let it die, whatever stays. And the only thing that stays on is this awareness. Everything else dies, this body is dead. There's no more feelings, there's no more sensations, there's no more thoughts, nothing. No more consciousness in that sense. Consciousness being conscious of all the sense data that come into the chitta, because the chitta has gone out or has gone into complete rest. That is the preview of Nibbana. And it is not beyond our faculties, it's not beyond our abilities to reach that state. But we have to be very determined not to let the mind go off. And are you willing to do that? Are you willing to fight the onslaught of the kilesas who constantly try to bring you out of meditation? Are you willing to do that? When do you give in? When the pain becomes excruciating, then you give in. We should then, at that time, when we do Samadhi and the pain becomes excruciating, we should investigate pain. What is pain? Where is the pain? Where is it located? And then we go with our concentration, instead of the Buddha or instead of the breath, towards the point of pain. And then we ask this question, what is pain? How does it feel like? But before we can do that, we have to accept pain. You have to welcome pain. Okay, great, there is pain. Now let's investigate it. What is pain? How does it feel like? Where is it actually located? Is it in the skin? Is it in the tendons? Is it in the bones? Is it in the flesh? Is it in the muscle? Where actually is it located? Can you find it? No. Excruciating, okay, let's get up. And then the pain disappears. What kind of pain is that? It's magic. Just like all these other things are magic. All these thoughts, they come and they disappear. Just like soap bubbles. We constantly run after them. The moment we catch them, they're gone. They disappear. Then the next soap bubbles. And you remember, when we were young, we ran after these soap bubbles, and we produced them, ran after them. The moment we caught them, they disappeared. And then we run after the next, and run after the next. Just like our whole life, we're running after these pleasant experience. And the moment we reach it, it's gone. But we don't realize it because everybody around us does the same thing. We're running after the pleasant experience and we're running away from the unpleasant experience. In each case, whenever there's an unpleasant experience, we find somebody who find a scapegoat. Who is guilty of this unpleasant feeling that arises in my very own heart? Who is guilty? The feeling that arises in my heart, who is guilty of that? Of course, it's me. No? Because we always look outside, we never look inside. That's why we think the things outside here produce the feelings that come up inside. When we see a person we don't like, it's an unpleasant feeling arises. It has nothing to do with the person. The unpleasant feeling that arises in our very own heart, our very own chitta. That's where it arises, and that's where it ceases. It has nothing to do with the other person. We have to realize it sooner or later. But of course it is nice always to find a scapegoat. Everybody, every nation, every person, every family, everything finds a scapegoat for something. Something bad is happening, so we find some scapegoat. We have to relieve this person or that person, and then everything is good again? No. So the problem is within us. And we have to investigate. So when pain comes, accept it, and then investigate. What is pain? Until you clearly understand what is pain. And while you do the investigation, the pain moves from part to part, it just changes, its location, and then you go with your concentration up to the next location until you find out where it actually emanates from, or originates from. And once you find out where it originates from, then it's over. Then there will be still pain, but you're not afraid of it anymore. It's just a natural thing. Just like hunger, it appears and it disappears. Thirst, it appears and it disappears. Pain appears and disappears. It comes with this body. We can't sit in the same position for 24 hours unless we leave the body. We can't lie down for 24 hours. We can't stand up for 24 hours. It is impossible. The body needs to be moving constantly. But we like this body. We adhere to this body. We are. But what is it? What is it about this body? That's it. You have to carry this body wherever you go. You have to feed it, you have to house it, you have to clothe it, and you have to buy some medicine for it. Because it gets sick over time. Once in a while it gets sick, and you need some medicine to get it healthy again, and then becomes sick again. You have to feed it every day, you have to house it, you have to clothe it, because if it is too cold, you freeze it. If it is too hot, it is unpleasant. This body gives us nothing else than unpleasantness. But we love it. Isn't there something strange? We want it so much. Because we don't understand what the body is. We don't understand these unpleasant things. Because all our life we have run away from the unpleasant things. Or we have, in concern with this body, we have become used to it. We become used to it, and what we know is the ways how to get around this unpleasantness. So when we are hungry, we eat. When we are tired, we sleep. When we are thirsty, we drink. And when the body gets in pain, we get some medicine or we change our position. But where is this pleasant feeling that arises actually? In this body? Where is the pleasantness? It's only when the pain goes away, that's where we feel relieved. Yeah? And we confuse this feel of relief with the feel of pleasantness. That's why we hanker after all these feelings of pleasantness. That's why in German we say, hit your head against the wall because it is so nice when the pain goes away. Huh? And that's what we do day in, day out. When we wake up in the morning, we don't realize, actually it is dukkha to get up. We want to sleep on. We want to sleep on until it is so much dukkha and that we have to get up. So our day already starts with dukkha. Then we are hungry, it's dukkha. Then we are thirsty, it's dukkha. And that comes only from the body. I'm not talking about the chitta, about the restlessness, the boredom, fear and so on, that comes all from the chitta. Yeah? I'm talking only about the body. And we don't realize it. Because we are so used to it since we are born. Sometimes have a look at the newborn baby. If it doesn't like something, it cries. If it is in pain, it cries. If it has some unpleasant feelings, it cries. Constantly it cries. The mother has to figure out what is not comfortable for the baby. Until the baby learns how to get rid of its own discomfort. And that's what we are used to. So we don't think about it much, so we think, that's fine. We don't have to eat 24 hours a day, we don't have to sleep for 24 hours a day. We can use the body, once in a while where it is okay. But most of the time we use it for is to finance our living. To finance the food that we eat, to finance the drinks that we drink, to finance the house or apartment that we live in, to finance the clothes that we wear, and to finance, the medicine that we need. And what is left? When you look at one day, what is left? That we have left. Where we can use the body for our own purposes, for not feeding, for not housing, for not clothing, for not buying medicine. How much time is that out of 24 hours? Think about it. Is it worthwhile to carry this around? You don't have to have a body, at least not a human body. Devas have it much easier. They don't have airplanes, they don't have trains, they don't have cars. They just blink with their eyes and they are there where they want to be. And we have to carry around, 60, 80, 100 kilograms of flesh, wherever we go. We have to heave it in a car, we have to heave it on a motorcycle, or we have to heave it in a plane just to go around the world. It's a lot of dukkha. But we don't see it as dukkha because we think we are constantly somewhere in the future. We're always arriving. When we start a journey, we are always arriving there in our thoughts. So we don't realize the dukkha of the journey itself. We don't realize that the walking is actually quite dukkha. Dissatisfactory, unpleasant, and so on. So see, look at your life, reflect a little bit about your life. Is it that what you want? If it is that what you want, I have no problems with this. Enjoy your lay life. And go into the next life, because in the next life, when you become a human being again, you're born again. And how many years do you have to train this body? You remember it? You train to walk, you train to talk, you train to think, you go to school. For how many years? For 9 years, you have to train to think. And only at the age of 15 or 16 can you use the body to its full amount. And then you can use it for 30 years and then it starts to decay. And it decays for 40 years until the breath is gone, and we call it death. And then we want a new body. In this life we want to do this, in the next life we want to do that. And there's no end to it. So if you enjoy it, you don't have to worry about. Without any effort you won't get out of this hamster wheel. About the cycle of birth and death. Because after death comes birth. After birth comes death. After death comes birth. After birth comes death. Realize that? You're aware of that? That is the cycle that we are in right now at the moment, unless we don't find the door out, or like the Lord Buddha said, entering the stream that leads us to Nibbana. That is the only door out. Once we go and open the door and get out, then it will have a definite end, sooner or later. That's the only door there is out of the cycle of birth and then death and then birth again and death again and then birth again. And we are not always coming back as a human being. Sometimes we are in the ghost realm, sometimes we are in the animal realm, sometimes we are in the hell realm, and maybe some of us are sometimes in the heavenly realm. But going back down from the heavenly realm into the hell realm, what is quite common, it's quite a change of fate. It's quite a change of feeling. And that is what is in stock for us. That's what is our future like. If you really want to think about the future, think about your next life. Where are you going to end up? What kind of good things have you done? Have you kept the 5 precepts that keeps you in the human realm? Or have you broken the 5 precepts that sends you down to the hell realms? That's up to you. Reflect about this, and think about it very carefully, and get some motivation out of it. That you put a little bit more effort in your practice. At least, go into Samadhi. If you're not here for a long time, get into Samadhi and realize that there is a safe haven, or there is a safe house, where we can actually shut down everything around us and rest. And when we come out of Samadhi, we are rested and concentrated. And once we are rested and concentrated enough, we can do this kind of investigation that I was talking about. Talking about investigation of the body, or about our life and the next life and the previous lives, or talking about the investigation of how much pleasantries this body brings us. And if you find out some pleasantries that I forgot, then you can tell me the next time, or you might be able to tell me now. Okay, it's enough for today. You have any questions? Yes, the kilesas give us a hard time, Brian? So we have to fight a little bit so that we have some room, Just like when you're in a crowd, you have to push the people away so that you have some space to breathe. You understood what I was talking about? The others as well, Asa, Reading doesn't lead to Samadhi. Understood, Only the practice of defeating the kilesas, at least momentarily, leads us to Samadhi. Sebastian, we have to put a little bit more effort, Yeah? Okay,
Does the kilesas play in the dreams?
Yeah, of course.
They can fool me every night.
Yeah.
They
They fool us every night, yeah. It doesn't matter. Sometimes during the day, it's called daydreaming. Yeah, we have some dreams even during the day. Yeah, and in night, these thoughts and memories and visual thoughts appear. Yeah, and they're just thoughts. And when you actually observe a dream, if it is not a lucid dream, if you observe a dream, it only is 3 thought moments. Then it changes, and then another, and it seems to go on, it seems to stitch up, but actually, the dream is always not more than 3 or 4 thoughts. And then a new topic comes, and a new topic comes. Just like with our thoughts. When we observe, when we are so calm and are able to observe a thought can only have 3 times the same object, and then it needs to change. If we pinpoint it down, now you can this is the only topic you think about it, no thought comes up again. It needs to change, it needs to proliferate. So it needs to change the topic. And that's the same with our dreams, that's why they are incoherent. The dreams of our normal dreams are always incoherent. They changed, the topic, but the topic is similar to the previous topic, but it doesn't make sense. There is a jump, but we don't realize it. But if we are able, to be so aware that we can analyze these dreams, we will see it. It's all there for us to see. But we would need to open our eyes. That is so difficult. Sometimes it's so difficult to get the eyelids open. Yeah?
So when I wake up in the morning,
yeah?
I can say whatever, because they're really vivid. I mean, they're really live.
Yes.
It's really
they can be really vivid.
So I can say, this is the kilesa or whatever. And
just throw them away, just replace them with the Buddha. Yeah? And you will see over time you don't even remember. Once it seems to be very vivid, and then you do 2 or 3 minutes of Buddha, and then you can't even remember it.
After?
Yeah.
What I saw that one day they gave me kind of dream, meeting this kind of people. Oh, I was really emotional for all the day.
Yeah.
And then the next day they changed the situation. So it cannot be true, because the upside down the situation is completely different.
They are just as true as our thoughts are during our meditation. They are completely nonsense. Yeah? Most of these thoughts have nothing to do with us, with our situation. Some of it do, yeah, but most of them are just nonsense, yeah? Nonsensical. Make no sense. Yeah? I want to do my Buddha. Where is this coming from? Yeah? They just know us. The kilesas know us so well. So they think, if they throw up this kind of thoughts, it will catch our attention and it will lure us into thinking. Yeah, what is this? Maybe there is some importance to it. Yeah? But actually, who asked this? Maybe there is some importance to it. Is the kilesas as well. And with this question, it gets us interested and it lures us out. And that's the same with the dreams. Most of the dreams you don't even remember. Yeah? I mean, you dream if you sleep for 8 hours, you dream about 6 hours. Yeah? And only the last dream is that you remember, or if you wake up, in the middle of the night, is that dream that you had. But actually, it's just visual thoughts. So don't worry about it. Whatever you need to know, it comes up through meditation, through your practice. That's where you can change things, because you see how they evolve, how they are brought up, and what is the topic. Yeah? There you can actively go and change something. But in a dream, no. Forget it. Not worthy to think about it, not worthy, to spend all the time to realize, was there some importance? Yeah? Okay? Any more questions? Okay, so I'm going to stop.